Last week, my mother posted the following on Facebook. If he makes you lose your family, lose your friends, lose your confidence, lose your self-esteem, or lose your happiness, then you need to lose him. So I replied, but what if he's like really good in bed? I'm so witty. To which my mother replied, oh please, those are a dime a dozen, and others can be taught. That is why my mom is awesome. Welcome to day 11 of 30 days of Netflix. Today, I am going to watch The Human Centipede 2. Why The Human Centipede 2? Because a Serbian film is not on Netflix. I saw the first Human Centipede. I even reviewed it on my YouTube channel last year. I thought it was okay. There was a lot I liked about it. The guy who plays Dr. Heiter, I really liked his incredibly over-the-top performance. It wasn't as gory or gross as I thought it would be. And I was kind of disappointed by that. Let's see how Human Centipede 2 stacks up. This movie seems to, at least in the last half an hour, have been made for me. Tom Six, the director of these movies, must have watched my last video, even though this movie probably came out before I made my review of The Human Centipede. Anyway, I think I told you before I watched the film that one of my critiques of the original movie was it wasn't as gory and gross as I kind of thought it would be. This one gets there. The movie's a little uneven. It's the first hour has some good stuff in it. I think it starts out strong, but after the first 20 minutes, after I get used to a really oddball performance by the lead actor, which is really something to behold, not quite the performance of Dr. Heiter in the first movie, but very different. Still really worth looking at. You get used to it after the first 20 minutes, and the movie does kind of drag a bit. But once it hits the let's make a human centipede portion of the movie, it gets as gory and disgusting as most people would probably want. I think this movie goes to... Go away, Floatin' Fuzz. I think this movie goes to most of the places that I really wanted to see something as purposefully gross as something like The Human Centipede sells itself as. I think that was an incomplete sentence, but I'd have to go back and diagram it. I might have missed a verb. Sorry about that. Now, if you like gross, even if you're a fan of this stuff, this is probably not a movie you're going to watch more than once. It's just, frankly, not that great of a film. There's really almost no film here. So let me give you general premise, and then I'm probably going to go into some lighter spoilers. I don't think I'm going to spoil all of the gags, because the fun of this movie is seeing what they do with it. The premise of the movie is that this movie takes place in a world where The Human Centipede is a movie. The star of the film is a fan of the original Human Centipede. And he decides, I could make me one of those. He's a parking garage attendant. So as he sits in his little office and he watches The Human Centipede on his laptop, oddly, he rewinds the movie when it's done instead of just restarting it, which is odd. I mean, a lot of media players have a rewind button. You can do that, but That's one of the things that sticks out at me in the film. It's like, why is he rewinding a DVD? But, so he works in a parking garage, and late at night, when nobody is there, he sees someone walking alone, and he walks up to them, shoots them in the kneecap, and brains them over the head with a crowbar. And then duct tapes their wrists and ankles together, chucks them in the back of a van, and then, I guess, finishes his shift, and then drives them to a warehouse. There's something inherently funny, if you're an incredibly sick individual like myself, about these sequences, because the lead actor is a very portly gentleman. So he just kind of waddles around. He has asthma, so he's he's constantly doing that. He's really not a good shot. He does have to. He sometimes miss one person. He accidentally gut shots and kills them. So sometimes he misses. When he's stalking, he hits someone in the legs, and they're no, trying to crawl away, and he's stalking them with the crowbar, and he just drops it on the floor, and he's like, oh, crap. Okay. He just drops a damn crowbar on the ground. It's great. It's great. There's just something funny. Just constantly beans people over the head with a crowbar. I want to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil all the good stuff. So the original movie has a 3-person human centipede. He's trying to make a 12-person human centipede. He doesn't quite do that. He ends up with a 10-person because some of the people die. That's what happens when you're constantly braining them with a crowbar. There are a few things in this movie that really don't make a lick of sense. For example, the people he leaves in the warehouse are bound wrist and ankle with duct tape. Granted, they've been hit in the head repeatedly with a crowbar, but he seems to leave them there alone for at least a day at a time. You would think at least one of them might have crawled out the door. I mean, maybe it's locked, but he never seems to find one near the door. Maybe they all go back. They always seem to be in exactly where he left them. And one of the victims is a pregnant woman. Yes. Yes, it goes there. Yes. It goes there, too. It goes beyond there. It's hilarious. I'm not going to spoil it. She's actually not bound. We see that one of the victims later in the film, who is not bound, suddenly gets up and runs out. Not sure why they didn't do that before. This movie is going out of its way to offend you, to gross you out, to go, oh, you can't do that in a film. You know, some of the rules of horror movies, or of movies in general. You never kill the kid. You never kill the dog. Which is why Chuck Russell's remake of The Blob is awesome. I mean, I love the original Blob. It's some goofy, campy fun, but Chuck Russell's remake of The Blob from, I don't know, 88 or so, that movie rocks. But we're talking about the Human Centipede too. What else do I want to say? Really, most of the good stuff is at the last half an hour of the movie, where he puts the Human Centipede together. And he's terrible at it. In the original movie, the procedure goes something like this. He removes some of the tendons in the knees so that they're constantly on their knees and they can't stand up. Makes sense. He removes the teeth. Okay. He cuts triangular flaps out of the buttocks and then grafts them to the person's cheeks so that they're connected lips to anus. So that they're fastened there and they can't pull their face apart. Slight spoiler here. I'm not going to spoil everything. I'm going to spoil a few things. If your interest is piqued, go ahead and watch it. See you tomorrow. One of my complaints about the first movie is there was no scene where someone ripped their lips off of someone's butt and it's all bloody and bloody. That happens in this movie. It's pretty cool. Now, where was I? Oh, so that's the general procedure of how to make a human centipede. In this movie, this is just a guy with household tools. He's not a surgeon, so he sucks at it. He uses a hammer to take out people's teeth, and then the person he starts choking on the teeth, and he ends up killing some of the victims trying to put them together because he's just terrible at it. He's digging into their kneecaps with a kitchen knife. He can't get the buttocks flaps and skin grafts working, so he ends up staple gunning people's lips to each other's anuses. And then he, of course, if you have a human centipede, you want to see it work as intended. The head eats, digests, feeds the next segment, and it goes, and so on and so forth until it comes out the very ass end, right? Who wouldn't want to see that? Well, the human centipede isn't that cooperative, so he force feeds it in a way that I won't spoil. But he's a little impatient. He wants poop now. And he's massaging the tummies. He's, come on, trying to coax out that poo. And then he gets impatient and starts injecting them with a laxative, which the bottle says it's an oral solution. So I'm not sure how effective it would be to actually inject an oral solution laxative into someone's buttocks. I don't know. Maybe it works. I'm not going to try it. This movie's in black and white. The poop is not. The poop is the only thing in this film that's in color. Imagine a very sloppy procedure that literally staple guns someone's lips to another anus that is suffering from explosive diarrhea. Yeah. And the guy who builds his human centipede is like, yay, yay! Oh, pew. Oh, it smells so bad. What did you expect, jackass? How the villain's defeated is really pretty cool. Or is he? I'm not going to spoil that because it's just too much fun. A character from the original film pops up, even though the original film is a movie within this movie. How does that work? Won't spoil it. It's pretty funny. I don't want to spoil I want to talk about this so bad, but I don't want to spoil everything. I will say this. Mr. Six, Tom, Netflix tells me that this film is unrated. As such, if you're going to feature a scene where a man masturbates with a piece of sandpaper, it's okay to show us something. It's why we're here. Tell me I'm not alone in that. Tell me I'm not alone in that. I'm not sick.